Hello and welcome to the video where we're going to take our image and processing inside the Photoshop with special overlays. So this is our source image, and what we're going to do is creating this kind of compositing, retouching image to create somewhat surrealistic look for us. So let's go ahead and start working on this. Let's go ahead and start work. Before we jump in, I want little bit show on the setup on this, and the reason is why it was done this way. So right here's example, you can see I'm using kind of grayish background, and this is done for reason because if you work in Photoshop, when you start blending with the contrast based modes like a soft light, overlay or other things, 50% it's a neutral and mostly it's invisible will be. So and what I found out when you work with some compositing and whatever, the gray color, it's probably one of the best one to work inside the Photoshop, because we're not necessarily using extracting by using green or blue mask. We're using by the pen. At least I'm speaking about my workflow, what I do. And I found out that gray is a neutral, so it does not affecting color mode, because you always have it renderosity, you have it reflective lightings back from the surface, so it's a neutral. It does not highlight or darker. And if we want to overlay with backdrops, very easy, that is work very well, and you'll see how we're going to do this. So it's a reason why I found this gray backdrop, and I'll post the link for this backdrop if you're interested. And this is quite a bit long one, so you can see I can put it over boxes. I can play a little bit around with the link with that one. And this has become very kind of neutral, useful, and I can utilize this. And we can see in the future what was done with this. So here's a lighting basic setup for this. Let me explain. We have this photodiox deep modifier. It's a octagon deep dish kind of. This is provide very kind of not much fallout lights, and I have to actually have more video to explain and go over this if you're interested how this modifier work. But I like it because it is giving us very small fallout lights, but it's very concentrated, nice point on our model. So this is our main lights. Our other octabox right here on the side, this is just a filler to control hardness of the shadows in the other areas. And soft stripped box on the right side, this is just give us a little bit outline on the sides. So it's meaning if we look on the model, you can see right here we just add a little bit highlights on the side to extract model out of the environment. And our other octabox, that is filler, it will help us to control the shadows, like by the foot on the bottom, just overall, so we don't have this crushed black kind of look. And our main dish, you can see located a little bit closer, will give it us this spotlight from the top. So also, if we look, you can see the positioning and everything. What I found out, it is you have a negative and positive type of Rembrandt lighting. What I mean by negative and positive, right here, dark side facing towards the camera, so it's a negative, we have it blacker. And in some cases, when we have it brighter side face it to us, that will be positive. So it's not necessarily technical term, but it is my own term, how I determine where the light located, on which side we have this triangle light, on closer to the camera or more far away. Okay, and of course when you shoot, you can see it was done many different angles to work with the model when you produce this. And of course the one I found it's more pleasant, and at least in this thematic when I was working, one model look a little bit up or on the side. I have different ways, different videos to show how to model, how to do with working with model. If you're interested, you can look on this. But right now we're focusing on retouching. And we kind of won't look necessarily on the posing. I have different videos for this. But overall, you can preview very fast. This was a lot of photos taking. So let's go select one that I kind of pre-selected. Okay, and right here I just like position of the head. We also have it all faces lit up. It's not necessarily the best. Sometimes I like when it's darker one side. But beauty of a Photoshop, we can add all the sliding. Okay, I think that is look interesting. Position on the legs look okay. Sometimes when the leg on the bottom, like right here, we'll need to worry a little bit more about lighting. And you can see right here kind of testing. So, and because leg on the top, we don't need kind of worried about this bottom. So we'll go work on this one. Right now, when we select photos, we'll just double time click. And again, this was inside the Photoshop. So we're using Camera Raw to open our image. And we'll just take in Camera Raw highlights, bring down, usually almost all the time bring down to make it some does not overexposure. But you notice overall when you make highlights down, you kind of flatten image, and that is okay because we flatten everywhere, and it's I want flatten around, but we want to bring some of those highlights on the skin back. And we'll do this by using our color mixer in luminous, and we'll select orange and red. So notice what's happening if I bring my orange and red just a little bit up and a little bit yellow. We're bringing back the shape of the subject, mostly skin, but we still have it nice on the highlights in all other areas, like on a rifle. We don't have it overexposure elements, goggles, and some other elements. Next, I'm using sharpness update, and usually I'm going anywhere between 60-80, and this is mainly to restore sharpness that lost inside the camera. This was shot on a Canon R5, and it's have it anti-aliasing build inside before the sensor, so it's all process doing this stuff. And this is just to restore. You don't necessarily need to do this, just be careful, because if we look very close to the face or skin, if you're doing too much sharpness, you'll have this grainy kind of like worms popping up. But without, we have it a little bit too softer. So I found out about maybe 50 to 70, 80, somewhere around that area, where we still have it nice clean skin, but we bring back the sharpness that was lost before. Okay, let's go move a little bit out. Okay, we adjust those, and of course I always do remove chromatic abbreviation and profile. This is up to you because depend how you like it or not, but you can see we're bringing back a little bit at center, so your arm become bigger. And we have it less distortion, so I maybe just leave it like this. I know it's a little bit more less distortion, more distortion left from lens, but it does this part push it back, so it's a little bit smaller. It's what I want to do. The shadows, I don't currently worry too much, but if you want, you can bring in, and that will be depend actually on your sensor in the camera. But be careful because sometimes when you bring closer in a black and you have too much shadows, you will introduce digital noise. One thing I need to say that with Canon R5, I found out actually it's worked very well, way better. I had 5D Mark III before photo shooting, and usually I keep it my shadows like way down because I have a lot of noise coming from sensor. But with this, it seems like work very well with R5. So when we're done, we can open. Before open, just want to point that I'm using 16-bit channel. I want to produce as much color as I wanted. And I'm using Adobe RGB space. You can use any space you like it. Mine is just synchronized with the cameras, production, and other agencies when I'm working with them. So right here, and we're going open. You can open as an object, as the different ways. I found this one is, for me, work well, just a single image. Okay, so at this point, a couple things I want to modify before I jump in. And we probably will change our composition first. And usually I'll just bring a little bit down. Preview, I want to locate it right here, middle for your center. Depending how you're doing, you maybe want to just go and put a point on your eye, this eye, or other ones, for example. It's up to you. but I think this will work well. So we'll have it like this, and the reason is why I'm giving a little bit more space around her so we can place it some background and blend it in. Before we do next step, I want to actually create curve. Okay, and we'll take and bring up like this. And notice what we have it. Because we highlight it was a little bit darker before, we have it this box inside that we need rework. So let's go create new layer, and I just drag and create. I'm not creating blank layer because we are going to use the patch tool. And for the patch tool, I just want to go around the soft box right here, small pieces, and just drag like this soft box. There you go. Just kind of fix a little bit on this soft box around the area. Don't worry too much because we'll go to replace, but if we don't replace, the texturing mostly and the black level of black is different, and it's maybe will affect some on the background as well. So I like to at least bring close enough to the original background where we have it, but without too much work on that. Okay, next, before we do this, I see right here we have it leg stand. Okay, come back. Right here's our. So we'll just go select that one and just put it right there. I like those wrinkles, so we leave them alone. We could retouch more, but how I say it, we will replace background. So overall, I think it's look okay. And now we can remove this curve away. First, let's go process on a model and see before we work with the background. I'm going to create new layer. So it will be retouching layer. And we'll just use a healing brush, so we won't be fancy doing any frequency separation because I don't think we need in this case. Mostly what I do, it's look like, see right here, dot. So I'll just want to fix kind of like those teeny tiny elements. We can remove this dot, but we'll leave it there. Her nose earring. Just a couple things, not that much. Faces actually look very nice, clean. Just maybe couple touch-ups. I like to leave freckles as it is natural, except sometimes maybe you have some small red spots. Want to fix. Let's look on the fingers, and fingers kind of couple places where is the mostly happen on the fingers because people scratch a lot. Maybe right around there you want to do. Around this nose area, people have it problems. Just because we are humans. Okay, so I think it's look okay. Look on these legs, everything is, yep. And right here we have some label assigned. So let's go to take this one. And we'll just kind of little bit try to match in, hide this label. Okay, right there. Not worry too much, just oops. Okay, that is redoing. Okay, there you go. Just to fix this spot. I think it's look okay now. So next, what I want to do, it is actually soften a little bit skin, and they have special steps. I'm going to do this dodge and burn. If we do dodge and burn before softness, it will remove some of those highlights. It's blend them in, and I don't necessarily want to lose them. Sometimes maybe I will do twice dodge and burn. First time, apply smoothness and dodge and burn again. But in this case, we'll do just the one time. So for this, Control Shift Alt E, Command Option Alt E on a Mac, new layer. Let's go to rename this smooth. And for the smoothness is actually applied mostly to the skin. What's happening if we look right here close to the skin, you can see all of this texturing, and it's good texturing, it's natural. But because we try to simulate some of the painting, in a painting, what do you do if you work with oil or other things? You put it coat, and you maybe take another brush with a little bit darker, and you just kind of punch around to make it look texturing. But it is not this different, so it still look a little bit smoother, and that's what we try to simulate. If you really want to do photography as a painting, I do recommend take a basic painting class or something. It will help you to understand and see what this difference will be. So, but anyway, let's go back here. We go filter, noise, and we're going to dust and scratches. Dust and scratches will remove size that we wanted. The radius is based on the overall image size and resolution, and usually what I'm going down to see was like this. See, we still have it some shadows, but it is smooth out. So this level, we'll go click OK, and we'll hold down Alt or Option key and click on a mask. So this will create this mask on a layer and hide for us. So right now I'm selecting a white color, 10% opacity, and I'm going to paint over mask. So this will allow me to slightly apply the effect. So right here you can see we're applying, and usually what I do, I will apply on mostly on the skin faces. I'm avoiding eyes. You can avoid some other hair, definitely you want to avoid hair, eyes. Like you can see right here, I maybe just touch a little bit around, but I try to avoid them because it is this details, the noise, is part of the details that I want to preserve. Okay, you can also use the bracket keys to make your brush up or down. So, and just a little bit on the fingers, don't forget our fingers. Apply a little bit more on the neck, and let's see what's happened right now. You can see already before and after. It's a little bit, by removing those details, we kind of simulating this effect, painting effect. Okay, right here, let's go. And a little bit more, of course, on the shoulders we'll apply it. So let's create bigger brush. And do on the hands, a little bit more intensify. And you can see how it already smoothed out. Our eyes will draw to the bright subjects and the object points, and also to the higher details, because we want to look on details. By removing details, we also forcing our eyes to look on specific areas. So because it's boring, not so much details, we'll focus a little bit on the eyes and face. Okay, so right here, let's zoom out, and we can see the smoothness. So we just smooth skin right there, look a little bit nicer and cleaner. Okay, we can, if you want it, you can smooth a little bit more. Smoothness does provide flatness, and the reason is why we're going to use dodge and burn now. So we can bring a little bit more shape. Color, will provide some information, but luminosity channel or black and white, it's what provide for us shape of the object, where we know which is a lighter and darker help us appear this way. So, and we'll use it dodge and burn. You can use it on a clear channel. Usually I'm doing 50% gray, fill up this one and switch to the soft light. So now by using brushes, and we can use the black and white brush, we can make it darker or we can make brighter. Again, I'm using 10% opacity soft brush, and I'm working with a mouse, so I don't use it. I have Wacom pad, but because I do a lot of 3D graphics, I'm kind of mostly stick with a mouse to doing this. And you can do as well, you just need to apply a little bit more strokes to this. And what I'm doing, you can see I'm just applying enhance some areas shadows a little bit more. Just add a little bit more shape to the, and here's a tricky. If we add shadows kind of to the sides and a little bit more highlights to the front, it will make face look a little bit. Oops, I switch to the pen. So right here, we'll just add a little bit more on the cheeks. Okay. Just a couple touch on the eyes to bring in. A bit on the chin, so let's go. Fingers. And I'm using X key to jump between, and you can see right in this area I'm jumping between black and white. So my white is my highlights, and black is my, okay, zoom in. Okay, if you want pop up a little bit on lips, you can do black up and down and create white and just add one white on the middle. So again, what's closer to us should be brighter, far away it's a darker, and that's what we're doing with these highlights. Actually, this one kind of silly was putting on a nose, but I think it's worked. Okay, let's look closer. So before and after. You can see we add a little bit more shape to the face, kind of add a dimension to this. Okay, let's go ahead, add a little bit more around right here. Okay, if arms again look a little bit big, and usually it's happen when arms closer to the camera, to the lens, it always will happen. What we're going to do right here is just take, apply shade to the edges, okay, and we'll just take highlights and apply in the middle like this. So that will make actually look them quite a bit thinner. Again, it's all in perspective, but you can see before and after. Just give it a little bit more shape to this. Okay, let's add here, darken, make darker around legs, and just a little bit highlights. Okay, let's come closer to the hand. Oops, I need to actually go add shadows, highlights a little bit on the knuckles, it will bring them better. Okay, and we have our dodge and burn. You can have it multiple passes, and usually it's what I do. I create multiple passes with dodge and burn, but for the example, I think this will work well. Okay, let's go ahead. Next, what I want to do is work a little bit on a hair to create painting effect. So Control Shift Alt E, Command Option Alt E to create new layer. So let's go call its hair, and we'll go to like yellow color of this. And coloring, it's not necessary, just I put it for myself so I know visually what layer what does. You can create your own coloring, it's just fine. Don't worry too much. It's not functional, it's just only visual. So okay, now we're going to the stylize, oil painting. Let's look on a hair, and I want to use stylization 10, cleanness 10, scale 5, brushes 5, that should be fine. Except I want to bring a little bit more dimension to this, so I'll go filter, sharpen. Okay, where's my sharpen? Right here, unsharp mask, and we'll just unsharp quite a bit. Okay, why do we using oil on our hair? Because you can see how it's work strings added. Without this, if we look closer, what's happening, we have this noise that from pixelization going, and it's this noise, it's what make look a little bit rough. With the applying a little bit of the painting, we'll remove some of this roughness. So we won't use it, of course, 100%. We'll use the mask to this. We'll brush 10%, and we'll just start painting inside the hair a little bit of the top, so you can see how it's already start cleaning, removing those horizontal, this kind of noise and hair. One nice thing what is this tool work very well. Here she does not wear wig, but if she wear wig, you will see line going on a side. So you can retouch with the one tool, and after you apply it, you can see how the lines added. So this way you can hide the wig very easy, edge of the wig in a model what you're photoshooting. After photoshooting, you want process, so it's a reason work very well. Okay, so right here we're adding more, and overall you can see just cleaning a little bit. Nice. This tool work very well on a fur. So if you have any fur material, it's work very well. As well, if we look closer on the eyebrows, so we can just touch up a little bit right here, make them straight, and her shoes, for example, right here, we can apply also a little bit on the line, because this will add this painting effect, and it's work kind of nice in this way. Okay, we have the zipper. In a long process, if I did for something more, we'll probably can take and remove the zipper, but I think it's okay looking at this point. But we could actually take and just replace with other ones when we want it. Okay. So our hair, it's a little bit cleaner. Okay, next what I want to do, it is apply almost a little bit more dimension to add to this and blend them together. So Control Shift Alt E, Command Option Alt E to create a new layer. Let's go put its green color, and we'll go to Image, Adjustment, Black and White. So I'll bring red skin tone a little bit up, red and yellow. We'll go next Image Adjustment, Shadow Highlights. And if you see like these options you want to enable, so you have more option properties, we'll take amount 100% on the shadows and highlights. Let's use it 15 pixels. This may be changed depending on your total resolution. And we'll just take this tone and bring a little bit down and highlights up. Okay, because this will be soft light using. Darker will be darker, contrast mode again, and brighter. Click OK and switch to the soft light. So at this point you can see it's kind of add almost like HDR, maybe too much. And we'll take it down and bring just maybe about 15% up. Just a little bit enhance. Okay, I think we're almost ready. I don't want to touch global anything else, but I think we're ready to add a background here. Okay, and as a background, let's go see what we have. I created in a Vue, just render, so I think this will work well. This is HDR processed. Model, it's from the DAZ 3D, and I render inside the Vue. I render two ways. I render one as HDR save, and one, of course, it is just PSD. And we'll put it one on top of another ones, just to merge, because you can see it's maybe a little bit too much. Let's mask it, and we'll just add a little bit softness to this. I don't want too much, because I think HDR was a little bit harsh in some areas, mostly with the lights. For those who does not have the ability to create these backdrops, I'll go create the POG just for you, and if you are a Patreon support, you can download it for free, and otherwise you can just purchase. So it will be multiple different packs with all these backdrops. You can use it royalty free in your work. So okay, right here is my create layer. We'll go drag and drop this on our model. Let's go Command Control T so we can scale up, and I'm just scaling up to horizon, probably around this area. So we can see which area, probably right around here I want to place it. Next, let's go call it backdrop. And this is what beauty of the gray screen, so we can kind of matching very easy. I want to go ahead and click Alt or Option and on a mask, and it's hiding. So at this point we can use a 10% opacity, or if you with a brush you even can go lower, and you almost start brushing in. But before brushing in, I want to start brushing in first around her, very close, and you can do. So we're going by the edge first, and nice things about this, because we're doing overlay, you can see the color is also going over her hair and kind of nicely blending in. It's help us with this, and it's very forgiving kind of ways, because usually I use a pen and I need to go by the edge of the pen. With this overlays, it's literally it's so easy to do. You're just painting over, and we'll probably come back after to fix a little bit more. But again, this is different style of compositing. It's lazy man compositing, I think. Okay, so right here we add like around there, maybe a little bit more around her arm, closer, like right there. Okay, now when we're done with this, we can increase size and we're gonna go closer. And you can see how well it's worked with this gray background, because texturing, and you almost can even leave like those wrinkles in, because they work very well. It's almost like a printed background. Okay, right there. We can apply it. Okay, one thing you can see, it's if you don't like it, how the backdrop, because right here, for example, bright light or other things, be sure you unlink those, select the backdrop, and now you can actually move backdrop around to find even better spot that you like it. And I think maybe right here, maybe it look a little bit better, kind of like almost backdrop behind her. Okay, like right there, maybe even. Yeah, let's leave it like this. Okay, so you can do this. You can also, if you don't like buildings or something, we can create even more Rembrandt-like look. And for this example, we can even just take like clouds, something very beautiful, nice looking clouds. Let's go just reposition, or even in some case people I see use it real painting, but doesn't matter. Like for example, we can put this cloud and we can take mask, copy on the top, and now you have it clouds look like. Okay, so we can paint, so you can create. Notice with the clouds and some other effect, we maybe needed rework a little bit better on a masking going around her, so we need it more gentle, going closer, and just go a little bit better about hair, you know what I mean, so they're kind of dark, kind of those areas. Don't worry about these lines, I'll show you in a second how to get rid of them, but here's another example so we can do with just clouds. Okay, we can go closer, going by her hand. A little bit right there. Sometimes sharp edges we still, if we want to do with the sharp edges, we maybe want to use a pen tool or a little bit different brush. Okay, let's go right here. But with this, we also have a nice kind of almost glowing going around her, which is make the light blend almost. Okay, right here. Going edge, and let's go a little bit more on the hair around this area, increase size of the brush. And the problem is sometimes when you start doing this, you can see these lines happen because you're going over. So what we're going to do is go ahead and click on a mask. And you can see now we see the mask. We can see where's the light going in and off. Click on the area where it's bright, like right there. So now we have it same gray level. We'll go with number 3. And you can kind of almost paint closer. So, okay, let's go with this brightness. And now we can blend much easier because we have only that color. So if we zoom out, increase, okay, let's go with a 60% example. And you can see how easy now just match same gray because it's all what we have. We have the same things. And we can preview right there. Because we have the same type of the gray or the same type of the transparency. It's what we're applying. Okay. And of course, if we have too much lost, we'll need to go back and use a pen tool. So this is one way. Because I do like using pen tool in some cases because it is help me give it sharper edge. But as example, okay, we step on the arm right there. Okay, so this is one way, and almost anytime filter, blur, as on blur, we want to use it on the mask for sure. Pop up maybe around there, click OK. What's happening now, if we look, we'll start losing this edge, and it's why I say it's with a pen tool, it's much easier to use that. But we can do X again, go to the black, we can actually just trim down a little bit around these areas, blend a little bit back in, like right there. Select properly background sometimes does help as well. So if we use a pen, probably using will be okay to use. Okay, so we applied, and we're right now on a white DX. Let's go to, so we have white 10%, a little bit there, and we can just add a little bit more, bring those clouds out. Some areas, play around. You can always actually take one of, again, a layer. Well, let's remove the oops. Just remove this one, and we can switch to, for example, screen, the mode, hide with a layer, and with a screen mode, if you want it, you can always just slightly apply to around the hair. So like right there. It will make elements, if you have a problem like with the highlights right on the edge, so we can add with the screen mode just a little bit brighter. Don't worry if you start losing, we can always take and work with opacity just a little bit brighten up. Again, it's up to you, but working with the edge, I think this one I may make a little bit darker actually. Just like this. There you go. So what nice things again about gray background, we can easy just add back the original kind of coloring, and it's help blending us. Okay, so this is one way. Next, let's go create another dodge and burn layer. Okay, we'll go to violet. We'll fill up with 50% gray. Switch on soft light, and this way we can actually go with a black color and add global dodge and burn. So for example, like feet, I don't like it's too bright. So I'll just go add a little bit more darker. Like this, we'll switch to white and we'll just add around her face, like almost lights maybe coming from top. Kind of like painting. If it's too much, remember you always can dim out. And right there, just a little bit focusing on a subject. Like right there. Okay. Next, let's add glowing a little bit, create a little bit more effect to this. So we'll go Control-Shift-Alt-E, Command Option Alt-E. Glow, okay. Okay, and in a glow, we'll go to Filter, Blur. We'll use Gaussian blur on this. Not as much, maybe around that area. Click OK, switch to the screen, and let's add mask to this. So now, with a brush, white color, 10%, we can just take this area where you can see normal highlights and just add a little bit. So it will create this kind of almost glowing. I don't want to add glowing everywhere, but on a bright spot, we'll create nice, this kind of beautiful glow. Right there, you can see, just add a little bit elements right there, around the face, glowing. Okay, let's add a little bit more around the face, because we're going to add some other elements to the face to this. Okay, and those elements you can find different. I found just some funny compositing things we're going to do. For example, we'll go take this star, and it's Christmas star. But I don't want to use it as a Christmas star. We'll just use it behind her. Let's position like right there. Okay, maybe shrinking a little bit down. I think that way. Okay, we'll go again. Create a mask. We'll take a brush, white color, 10%, and we'll just start painting in some of those elements behind her. I know it's kind of will be like almost crown behind her. We'll do. So we'll add those elements. Okay, there you go. And we'll just painting a little bit more. And you can see right here we have it already kind of interesting things. You know what, let's create another element. And this is just simple chain. But if you have a circle or other things, you can use it as well. I think the chain will work just fine. Kind of a little bit unusual, but will work in this case. We'll just round around like right there, maybe. Maybe just a little bit bigger. I just want to be sure those all fit inside. There you go. We'll put it in. Let's go click Alt and hide, and we'll again start painting in circle. So it's almost like hello or something you can create this way. But I think it's just creating almost same look. And you can find different elements, put it around. Again, this is just as example of doing. So this is one way to apply it. And let's do one more. Let's go create new layer. We'll call it lights. And we'll just use it white color, 100%. So from her center, from here, I click once, hold down Shift, and click another once. Okay, we'll do like a round race. Think about this. This is a race projection. So we'll do different things, going like right there. Okay, I think we're done now. Now let's fix it. Let's go filter, blur, Gaussian blur on this. Okay, we'll pop up a little bit more, like around this maybe. Click OK and switch to soft light. Okay, next what I want to do is again create mask, Alt and click. And now we'll take our brush, only switch to 10% opacity, and we can just slightly brush in the rays that we have. So at these, you can see they start coming up. Not too much, and we can fix them, but if we're going from close up, they will kind of coming and dissipate. We don't need effect very strong, we just need it a little bit, so eyes kind of glowing a little bit more. Okay, so right here we created our image with backdrop. Again, you don't need, if you don't want it, you can use it. Remember, you can use it background like this if you want it. But I think clouds also will bring interesting effect. Let's go next to do. Okay, I think almost done. One thing what I like to do on the end, and this is just to bring everything together. Actually, you know what? Let's make a little bit more fun. Let's go create one new layer. Let's go call smoke. We'll take a brush, 100% opacity on a brush. Okay, we'll right click. Let's go to use it smoke. And this is brushes. Again, you can, I like the Ron's brushes, actually very good. And I purchased them from Daz. So they're actually relatively expensive. I think it was a sale, something like that. So we'll just add smoke to the barrel of the gun barrel. Just a little bit. We don't need it too obvious. Just put it like right there. Let me come look. I don't think it's right. I think this will be a little bit more correct like this. Yep. And let's go, you know, take opacity, bring opacity kind of a little bit down like this. So not too obvious, but just showing something if you want to have fun with this. Maybe even less. Or maybe like right there, something smoking again. Okay. What's happening because we apply this blur, because we apply different images, everything. Actually, if we look, we found close to the grain, it does not match. It's too smooth. This is too grainy and all the stuff. So to fix this, we need to apply uniform grain to this. So we'll do create new layer. Let's call gray. Fill up with 50% gray. Next, we'll go to filter, noise, add noise. Okay, and it's noise, let's go maybe with 15 on this one. Okay, and switch to the soft light. So what it does, if you look right now, we have this uniform noise that help bring all object type together, because the smoothness and the noise on different components was different. So this is just unify them. Okay, well, don't need that high noise, so maybe about 47–50% should do for this. Okay, next let's go to work on coloring. So selective color, and we'll go with a black start. And we have a choice. We can crush black. I don't necessarily like it. I just will bring a little bit of absolutely black with minus this. And we'll do colder lights. We'll go set a little bit greenish, cyanish on the colder lights, just a little bit. And on the neutral lights, we can bring just a little bit up neutral lights, but we're going to the warmer colors. So a little bit reddish warm. And we work with this, again, black and this, maybe too much. Let's go bring it closer them into, like right there, a little bit Okay, and our neutrals, too much yellowish, so we're going to go at 4 here. Greenish, and too much red. There you go. We'll just bring a little bit softer, so it will look before and after, and just give it uniform. Even without coloring, it's actually look already not bad, but with the tone, give it us a bit more flexibility to play with coloring. So let's go. I'll select whites, and we can bring brightness to the whites, maybe like right there, and we'll just set whites to the warm color as well. Okay, if you don't necessarily like it, you can always modify, see how much you want to apply to this. We still have this curve first, what we're using, and I leave it because I want to use as a color. So we'll go select this form. Let's go bring down here, and we'll switch this to the color mode. Okay, and on the color mode, we'll switch to blue, and we'll take blue, bring a little bit up, and yellow down. So we'll create even more kind of yellowishy. And because it's simulating paint, is what I try to do, just to add a little bit of this coloring. Again, if it's too much, we can remove it, but I think just a little bit should work okay. Before 2 of those, let's add vignetting, and we'll do this by creating a new curve. We'll call it vignetting. Take whites all the way down, so we'll have the black screen. We'll have it marquee tool, select the frame. You see, not all the way, just give it a little bit border and fill up inside with a black color. Go on a mask for the curve and move feathering down. So you can see with feather it's created a nice border. We'll switch this to the soft light, because we'll have it. And there you go. Here's our vignetting. I like this vignetting because we can play a little bit more if needed. It's kind of more adjustable. Bring right there. And here's we have our image. One thing we're missing, it is put your name. So I don't like to do this way. Put it like this and leave it, of course. So usually I just leave it as information for those who need it, and it will be just probably teeny tiny. Oh, too teeny tiny, too small. So let's go bring just small. So like right there, people who are interested, they will find. And I'll just put it somewhere in a corner, like right there. So it does not distract from the image, but it still have a little bit information. Overall, here's our image that we created. Let's go to bring all together right here. Final, let's go this way. And one last things I like to do before I put it on a web or other things, when I resize, and for example, image adjustment. Okay, let's go to image size, for example. We'll go image size, and 3000 pixels probably should work. It's what I usually do. Before this happen, I like to actually add a sharpness, because I find out when you post it on social medias, Facebook, Instagram, they sometimes does not process as I wanted. So, and I like, okay, oops, where are you? Right here. I want to filter, sharpen, and add a little bit of the sharpen mask. Not too much. This is too much. Just add a little bit, and this is help to actually create better looking image for me. Okay, so right here we have our image, and you know what? Let's do one thing. Let's go ahead, take all of this, put it in a same group, go retouching, and that we have before our image. Okay, and okay, let's uncheck. And that is we have it after retouching. So this is what we kind of work together in this tutorial video. And if you like it, I have more videos, how to stop lighting, how to actually process in different ways. Please be sure to check my YouTube channel for more videos. You also can check down link before, down on the descriptions about the Patreon site. So you can join us Patreon. You will have access to all resources, materials, and more. I think I have an additional like 6 GB or more, just all bonus stuff for my Patreon support. So I have a lot of resources and libraries there as well. And it's helped me also to produce more videos and tutorials, to share my knowledge with you, just to have fun to creating nice art. And if you like it, please give it a thumbs up and add some notes or some feedback. It's very appreciated if you help your support. Thank you again, and hopefully you're enjoying this.